Terence Crawford, amazing effort against Canelo, who also had an amazing effort. Terence Crawford unanimously won that championship. So how, in fact, is it 2.5 months later that he's no longer the champion of the World Boxing Confederation? Because he didn't pay a fee?
WWE President Nick Khan is making his stance crystal clear in boxing's newest and biggest battlefield. He has publicly blasted the WBC for its shocking move to strip Terence Crawford, calling the entire situation absolute nonsense. To Khan, taking a belt from an undefeated champion over a fee isn't enforcing rules, it's running a scam. He says this isn't just about sanctioning anymore. It's a full-blown corporate power play. And Nick Khan is ready to help Crawford expose exactly what's happening behind the scenes. Intro.
Terence Crawford is no longer undisputed, and the reason why is everything that's wrong with boxing. The WBC has stripped Terence Crawford of his belt. Was he defeated? No, never. Did he test positive for steroids? Of course not. What he did do was refuse to pay them $300,000 for basically existing. Sanctioning bodies are the people who own all the belts. WBC, WBO, WBA, IBF. They're famously corrupt, make rules that make no sense, create mandatories, have rules that apply more to some fighters and less to others, and they deserve no money. But they take a percentage of every fight they sanction for one of their belts. And Terence Crawford actually was willing to pay a fee, just not the fee they were demanding. And I think if I'm an organization that does basically nothing, and somebody out there is literally risking their lives, and all I do is give them a belt, and they are willing to give me any money at all for my troubles, I should shut up, be happy, and take the money and smile. But no, they had to strip him his belt, and now they're gonna give it to somebody who absolutely definitely doesn't deserve it. Just like they kinda just stripped Usyk of his belt. This is why we don't have undisputed fighters enough, and this is a huge problem with boxing. And this is why all the sanctioning bodies have to go. I'm not saying TKO and the whole Zuffa Boxing Saudi League thing is the answer, but we need an answer because there's a problem, and Terence Crawford stood up to them. Good for him.
Boxing stands alone as the only major sport where you can win the championship and still lose the title because of administrative charges. The WBC stripping Crawford highlights just how broken the alphabet soup era has become. Crawford moved up to 168. Beat Canelo Alvarez, that's a historical fact, and held the belt proudly in the ring. But Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC board decided financial compliance mattered more than actual victory. By taking the belt away, they essentially turned their championship into a trophy for whoever pays the most. It exposes a harsh truth. Sanctioning bodies aren't acting like regulators. They operate like businesses selling straps to the highest bidder. Crawford didn't lose ability. He didn't fail a test. He just refused to open his wallet to the WBC. That's the ultimate crime.
He petitioned to fight a final elimination bout in super welterweight against Madrid Mo and remain champion in welter. The WBC supported him. He did not comply with the rules. Then he moves up to super middle and makes the fight of the century, beats Canelo, makes $50 million or around that. The WBC absolutely is not going to charge 3% of such an amount. We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000, with $225,000 going to the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund, which is to help former fighters in need. And it is just regrettable. Not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route, no response. I wish him the best. But this is not. The WBC is huge, is great. It's about greatness, and I'm relieved, to tell you the truth.
This is where the numbers turn both interesting and insulting. Sanctioning bodies typically demand about 3% of a fighter's purse. In a mega fight like Crawford versus Canelo, where Crawford reportedly earned around $50 million, that fee would have been massive. Millions just for the WBC logo. According to Suleiman, they tried to be generous. At their convention in Thailand, he claimed they capped Crawford's fee at $300,000, dropping it to just 0.66%. They acted like this discount was a gift. They sent repeated invoices to Crawford's team expecting gratitude and payment. Instead, they got silence. Crawford ignored every message. He didn't negotiate, didn't respond, and didn't pay for the consecutive fights, including the Israel Madrimov.
Mauricio, got a lot to say. about me not paying him $300,000 plus another 100K something for sanction fees, right? Then he gonna tell me I ain't even apologize? Like, who the fuck you think I am? Boy, you better slap your fucking self.
When news broke that he'd been stripped, Crawford didn't release a polite statement. He jumped on Instagram Live and delivered a scorched earth rant that instantly went viral. He tore down every illusion of the green belt's prestige with ruthless honesty. Sitting in his car, Crawford laughed at the idea that he owed Mauricio Suleiman anything. He told the WBC president to slap himself for thinking he deserved even a single cent. It was raw, unapologetic, and exactly
fuck you talking about pay you $300,000. What makes you so motherfucking better than any other sanctioned body? Huh? Answer that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you? So since you, the WBC, and you got the fucking green belt, which don't mean fucking shit, the fucking real belt is the ring belt, which is free, motherfucker. Who you talking about? You want me to pay you more than the other sanctioned bodies because you feel like you better than them. How in the world all the sanctioned bodies agree to the same amount, but you sit your motherfucking ass up there and say that I need to apologize to you? The fuck? You can take the fucking belt. It's a trophy anyway.
Crawford didn't stop at questioning the fee. He exposed exactly what he believes those fees fund. In a brutally honest moment, he accused sanctioning body executives of using fighter money to bankroll luxury, lifestyles, private jets, 5-star hotels, gourmet dining, all while the athletes risking brain damage scrape for every dollar in the ring. He highlighted the hypocrisy of men in suits living lavishly off the blood and sweat of fighters. To Crawford, the belt isn't prestige, it's just a prop.
Where Terence Crawford was stripped of his titles because he didn't pay a fee back to the World Boxing Confederation or whatever it is for $300,000. So they stripped his title because he didn't pay them that amount of cash afterwards. And so he's not the champion because he didn't pay them. They stripped him, whatever the case. It seems like really odd timing that this news gets released right now when tomorrow, I believe, there is a conversation happening in Congress about a little bit of an evolution of this or a revival of this particular act. And I know Zuffa is a massive piece of this, but you're not the only ones. There's a lot of boxers that are backing this. There's a lot of people in the boxing business that are backing it. There are retractors, obviously. Can you tell me about what you guys are trying to do and why people would not want you to do it that are in the boxing world?
Of course. So first of all, on the Terence Crawford side, you watched that fight on Netflix on September 13th. Terence Crawford, amazing effort against Canelo, who also had an amazing effort. Terence Crawford unanimously won that championship. So how, in fact, is it 2.5 months later that he's no longer the champion of the World Boxing Confederation? Because he didn't pay a fee? That would be akin to the Los Angeles Dodgers, whether you're a Dodger fan or not, having won a grueling 7-game World Series in one of the greatest Game 7s of all time. It would be like if Major League Baseball came to them and said, well, you didn't pay us a fee, so you're no longer the World Series champion. It's only in this sport of boxing where you see nonsense like this.
This puts the WBC in a dangerous position because Crawford isn't standing alone. He has major corporate firepower behind him. Nick Khan, president of WWE and a major figure in TKO, the company behind both WWE and UFC, spoke out publicly on the Pat McAfee show. And when Nick Khan talks, the entire sports world listens. He called the WBC's actions nonsense and used an analogy that instantly destroyed their logic. He said it's like the Dodgers winning a 7-game World Series, only for MLB to strip them a week later because they didn't pay an administrative fee. It sounds ridiculous because it is. And Khan pointed out that only boxing tolerates this level of dysfunction.
It's free! It's free! How you love that? $180,000 free. How much your belt cost? I wonder how much your belt cost. Huh? I don't see no receipts on your belt. It's crazy. Y'all be having so much taxes on these belts. You got some nerves. It's crazy that you can sit up there and have all these belts. You know, you got the WBC silver, the WBA intern, the whatever belt y'all got, and you taxing these fighters every time they fight, and you claim that you for these fighters. You're not for these fighters. You probably worse than the promoters. But hey, I wish you the best.